One of the most unique things about the Jedi Order is its vast diversity in species. Just as it is very rare for all members of a single species to be born as Force sensitive, it's similarly rare for no members of a species to be born without the ability to touch the Force. As such, the Jedi Order makes no distinction and boasts a proud variety of beings from across the galaxy. However, one species that has very few members in the Order is that of the Wookiees. While Gungan has been making his rounds as one of the most popular Wookiee Jedi, he is predated by a couple others that once made their mark on the Order. Individuals such as Tyvokka, who was a prominent Force-sensitive Wookiee from Legends continuity. However, today we are actually going to be talking about another Wookiee Jedi Master, one who lived during the Republic Classic era right before the Battle of Naboo, and one of the most underrated Jedi in all of the lore, an extremely wise and strong Wookiee, a Wookiee by the name of Tyvokka. So today, my friends, let's open up a holocron and dive into the lesser known Jedi Tyvokka. But before we begin, we would like to invite all of you who may not yet be one of our acolytes to reach out and force crush that subscribe button so that you can see more of our videos, similar to this as we highlight lesser known characters. And when you do, please be sure to leave a comment letting us know what other characters you'd like to see a breakdown of their history as well as their power. Thank you again, and let us begin. Master Tyvokka was a Jedi Council member many years before the events of the Phantom Menace. He had trained many apprentices within the Order, one of the most prominent being Plo Koon. According to Plo Koon, Tyvokka was an extremely powerful master who possessed unique abilities in the Force, with it being theorized that because it was rare for a Wookiee to possess Force sensitivity, that the Force was especially potent in Tyvokka. Tyvokka, though, was specifically gifted with precognition. Typically with Force sensitives, they are granted visions about one of many possible futures, meaning that not one single outcome is certain, but they can take measures in order to either facilitate or avoid the outcome they perceive through the Force. However, Tyvokka's precognition was much more powerful. It was said that he could literally sense the future, meaning his instinctive knowledge of the Force centered him in the present, and yet allowed him to intuit where all the possibilities would converge. This is a similar ability to Mace Windu's Shatterpoint, which was the technique of being able to sense important moments in time and the future through the Force. However, Tyvokka could essentially feel where each branching possibility would converge and lead to, making him one of the most proficient Jedi seers that the Order had ever seen. In addition, the Jedi Master's lightsaber was also fairly unique, as it was yellow in coloration, and just as other Wookiee Jedi, his lightsaber was constructed from Rorschire wood from his homeworld of Kashyyyk. Tyvokka's lightsaber hilt also featured a curved design. However, unlike Dooku's where the curve was more dramatic, Tyvokka's curve was subtle and was more likely made for a stylistic choice rather than a practical one. Tyvokka was noted for having constructed his lightsaber from the inspiration of the craftsmanship of his people, being impressed with the way that they made their signature bowcaster weapon. Interestingly, his yellow lightsaber didn't actually mean that he was a sentinel. Instead, it was representative of his personality and his opinion and take on the Force. Like all other Wookiees, Tyvokka had a short temper, but was able to control it much better than most of his kind. This was due to his strict discipline and Jedi training. Having said that though, his Wookiee nature, combined with his powerful sense of the future, made him incredibly blunt and no-nonsense, with some even suggesting that he was more likely to turn to the dark side because of his slightly more aggressive nature. Tyvokka was known for saying things exactly how they were, and had no problem airing his opinions or introspections. Plo Koon would recall that he, as a Jedi Padawan, constantly tested Tyvokka's patience with stubbornness, but luckily, the Wookiee Master poured all he could into Plo Koon, eventually making him into a fine Jedi Master worthy of pride and praise. By the end of his life, Tyvokka had heavily pushed Plo Koon to take a spot on the Jedi Council, even replacing Tyvokka's spot, even though his apprentice at the time was very reluctant to do so. In fact, Plo Koon even suggested that his friend, Master Qui-Gon Jinn, should have Tyvokka's seat instead, but Tyvokka expressed his heavy disapproval and even dislike of Qui-Gon, calling him willful and saying that he only saw things his own way. Tyvokka was one who even said that many in the Order considered Qui-Gon Jinn to be a Grey Jedi, making this extremely important in the lore, as this is one of the few times that the official term of Grey Jedi has ever been used, many attributing this to a fan term. Tyvokka's first, and unfortunately his only appearance, comes in the Legends Star Wars 1998 comics, wherein Mace Windu and Plo Koon recount the story of the Stark Hyperspace War. The story goes that it was a time of great unrest between the worlds of the Outer Rim and the Republic. Resources were being taken from the Outer Rim to the core worlds and returned as goods at vastly inflated prices, all courtesy of the Trade Federation, of course. A man by the name of Aiko Stark, who was a smuggler and a pirate, maintained a fleet of ships that he used to steal Federation goods from, and then sell them at a price slightly lower than what the Trade Federation demanded. This granted the pirate great notoriety and power, and eventually he forged a coalition of some of the biggest pirate lords from across all the galaxy, essentially making his own pirate empire, the likes of which had never been seen before. With this new power, he destroyed a massive factory which possessed Alzai, the key component in Bacta. Because of this, Bacta output was cut by 2/3, making it extremely short in supply. With prices of Bacta now inflated, Stark began attacking ships with Bacta supply in order to grab profit for himself, all in an elaborate scheme for power. All of this was to set the stage of a summit between Newt Gunray, Senator Valorum, and a team of Jedi directly led by Tyvokka in order to mediate the interaction. Accompanying the Jedi Master to this summit was Adi Gallia, Plo Koon, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. During the meeting with the Stark pirate, Tyvokka would skip the pleasantries and intuit Stark's real desires for this whole operation. This was when the Pirate Lord decided to have every one of his men pull their blasters on the delegation, revealing that the Peace Summit was truly a trap. Tyvokka quickly turned the tables though, quite literally on the whole ambush, pretending to lean on the table in front of him while speaking to Stark, only to suddenly throw it up in the air in front of the delegation, using the Force to hold it in place. As blasters began to fire and lightsabers ignited, Tyvokka quickly took charge, barking orders at all of the Jedi present, and instantly commanding control of the entire situation. However, the reality was that the Jedi were surrounded, and unless Newt Gunray stepped in to help them with his battle droids, they would be overwhelmed and killed. Qui-Gon Jinn commanded Newt Gunray to help them, but the cowardly Viceroy instead gave the command for his droids to kill all present. Unprepared for the betrayal, Tyvokka was overtaken by blaster fire from the droids, while at the same time fighting off the pirates and stopping them from killing all the Jedi present. Yet, even while critically injured and dying, Tyvokka kept his mind purely on the mission, ordering the Jedi to take better positioning and prioritize getting the Senator out of danger while the rest would pursue the pirates. Unfortunately, due to the lack of Bacta available, there was not enough to place Tyvokka in a tank, and he would slowly pass away next to his Padawan Plo Koon, who he looked at with a burning pride, finding peace in his final moments next to his friend and student. His final wish was for Plo Koon to take his place on the Jedi High Council. As a Jedi, Tyvokka was one of the most powerful that the Order had in the Republic Classic era. He was known for butting heads with Qui-Gon Jinn, and perhaps even having a rocky relationship with Master Dooku. He was also known for being very wise, kind, and powerful. He was also a personal favorite of Master Mace Windu, with Windu even theorizing that if any Jedi Master could defeat Yoda in battle, it would be Tyvokka, holding him in extremely high esteem. Tyvokka met an unfitting end. Such a powerful Jedi Master to be gunned down in such a cowardly manner by Newt Gunray. Tyvokka would have made a huge difference on the battlefield during the Clone War. It's also likely that of all the Jedi, Tyvokka would have had the best chance in sensing the betrayal of the clones and preventing Order 66, sensing the future and seeing where the Order's courses of action would eventually lead them. He likely would have sensed all the darkness inside Anakin Skywalker and not allowed him to join the Jedi Order. But of course, what do you think of the Jedi Master Tyvokka and his student Plo Koon? Did you enjoy seeing this unique, underrated Jedi in the spotlight? And what others would you like to see covered? Thank you so much for giving me some of your time today and tuning into the channel. May the Force be with you.